what's up guys, it's Evan here, and I'm here to show you how to dice stack. So the things you need before starting to dice stack, you need two things. You need a cylinder cup like this, and you need some casino dice. I have 5 here. So the reason you need these things is a normal cup can't really work because it's slanted, and I mean, you can use normal dice, it can work, but what most dice stackers use are casino dice, which makes the stacking easier. So before I start this, I just want to say, if you were able to know how to do this, I'm very glad to teach you this, and if you want some more tutorials, let me know. So let's get started. So to start off, you need to learn 2 scoops of dice stacking. So there is a front hand scoop and backhand scoop. So I'm going to teach you the scoops, and then I'm going to show you how to pick up the dice later on. So before we start, you need to focus on the grip of the cylinder or the cup. So before you start off, I am going to have my pointer finger on the top part of the cylinder, and I am going to have my my thumb on the left side and my other 3 fingers on the right. So if you can't see it, this is the grip on dice stack. You can also hold it like this, but I also would prefer to hold it like this because it gives you a more firm grip of the cup. So now I showed you, I'm going to show you how to do the motions of picking up dice. So the way you want to move the cup is that you want to have the side that your 3 fingers are, so this side, right here where I'm touching, you want to have that touching the table, and that's where you're going to start off. So to do the front hand scoops, you're going to turn the cup like 180 degrees. So you just do this. It's like showing you that 180 degree motion. So you're just scratching it with the table. So you're just turning the bottom. I'm putting my finger on it so you can follow it. So that's the motion you want to do. So you want to have this part facing down, touching the table. And then you want to have this part stay on the table the whole time. So that means you can turn the cup for that front hand scoop. So just practice the scoops before you get straight into the dice stacking, and I'd prefer to focus on the scoops, and once you get comfortable with them, I'll show you how to pick up dice later on in the video. So, yeah. So, to review this, you have to, step 1, put the cup, the right side of the cup or cylinder on this part right here on the table. And then you want to have the cup scratch the table while doing the forehand scoops. So you're just turning the cup 180 degrees. So you're just moving it to your left. Practice this. So this is how to do half of the front hand scoops. So that's a front hand scoop. So you're just scratching the table, and you're keeping this part of the cylinder on the table the whole time. Do not take it off the table, or else the dice will not go into the cup, which I'll explain later. So do this scoop right here. Follow this motion. I'll do it slower. Okay, so if you need to see that again, please go back to that part of the video. So I'm now going to show you the backhand scoops. Okay, so the backhand scoops is that you're going to be doing the same thing as you did for the front hand scoops, which is this, like I taught you earlier. But the only difference is that you're starting on the opposite side. So you're doing the thumb side is touching the table now. So I'm going to put my finger here, and that's where it's going to be. That's going to be touching the table. Except and it's just the exact opposite of what you did earlier. So now you're going to move. So now you're just doing the opposite. Except the thumb part, I'm going to do it with my finger. Follow my finger. This isn't really how you do it, but I'm just showing you because if you're having trouble, just follow along with it. So it looks like on the table, it looks like you're making like a little rainbow. So with the part touching the table, this part right here, make sure that's like making a rainbow, because that's the movement of picking up the dice. So this is a front hand scoop, having this, the three fingers side right here, touching the table, and you're just turning it 180 degrees. Got the motion? If so, good. If you need to see it again, please refer to the other part, beginning part of the video. And then for backhand, you're going to do the same thing, except you're starting on the thumb side. So it's like you're throwing a frisbee. Picture this of you throwing a frisbee. So you got that down? Good. So now I'm going to show you how to pick up dice. So grab yourself one casino dice. I'm going to show you how to stack more than one die later in the video, so just be patient. So what you're going to do is that you're going to practice this motion. So if you've gotten really good at just doing the scoops individually, try going back and forth like this. So this is going to be the motion you're going to be doing while you're picking up dice. I can't say it specifically, sorry. So once you have this motion down, then you're going to go move the cup forward like this. I'm just giving an example. So move forward and line the cup up with the die. I suggest starting it this way first if you're a beginner, but if you're getting the hang of this, I'll show you the hard way in a second. So this is an easy way of picking up the die. So you're going to start with the cup lined up with the die. Make sure it's exactly horizontal to each other, because if not, you're not going to be able to pick up the die because it's not next to the cup. So line the cup up with the die, and then do the front hand scoops and the backhand scoops together like this. And that's what you're going to do on the die. So that's what you're doing. So I'll do it one more time. So you're lining up the cup with the die. So then do the scoops, and centrifugal force in physics is involved in this, because after you pick up the die, it's in the back of it goes into the back of the cup. Sorry you can't see it all. There. So it's now in the back of the cup. So once you have that down, I'll show you what to do next. So once you have this down, what you're going to do don't worry about that other part. That's pro stuff, so I'll teach you some other pro stuff in future. So once you have this, you're going to put the cup flat on your left, and then just do one swipe to the right. So just do it without the die so you can understand the motion. I'll keep doing it. So you're putting the cup flat like this right as it hits the left side. You can do it whenever. Just take your time and make sure the die is stacked, or if multiple are stacked, before stopping it. I'll show you that with two die in a sec later. I'm just going to show you one, and then I'm going to show you how to do two. Once you know how to do two, you'll be able to do 3, 4, and 5, and then you can do as many as you want in the future. So after I show you how to stack all these die, I'll move into some other tricks later. So here's how to stop. So what you're going to do is that you're going to do the motions I've taught you, and then slowly, I'll stop right here. Sorry, my arm itches. My elbow. So once you're here, you can take as long as you want, but I'm just going to show you the stopping motion before going into it. So you're going to have the cup like this. Just when you have it here, put it flat, and then just take one swipe to the right, and that's how you stop it. Hi, Dan.
Hi.
So, I'm giving a little tutorial. Alright, so once you have this motion down, putting the cup flat, it's like dropping a 45-degree angle. Practice this of like getting the feel for stopping it, and then move the cup while getting into it. So it's like this. If I'm making this too complicated, let me know, and I'll be able to show you in the future. So this is, so like this. So you're putting the cup flat. Right as it hits that end of the left side of your left, you're going to make one fast swipe. And then once the die are stacked, or not stacked, just keep going until they're stacked and then pick up the cup. So I'm going to test it on this one, do it on this one die. And yeah, so I'll show you the hard way of picking up die in a second after I do this. So, you'll pick up the die like this, like the scoops I've been showing you. So, and then you will have the cup flat, completely flat on the left side, then just make one fast swipe to your right. Don't make it too fast or else the die will fall over. Like 2 dice, for example. I'm having it here, and I'm making the swipe. It's just 1 die, so it's not really going to stack, but I'll show you with 2. So that's how you stop, and now I'm here, I'm about to show you how to do the hard way of picking up dice. So the hard way of picking up die is doing the scoops like you've been doing normally, except this isn't really hard, but it's a little more difficult than the easier way. So you're doing this motion, the front hand scoops and the back hand scoops at the same time. And then you're just moving the cup forward like that. It's like I'm moving out my arm. And that's what you're going to do on the die. So you're just going to move your arm forward like this, and that'll pick up the die, and then do the stopping. So just move the cup forward, and that'll pick up the die. So that's going to actually help you with more than 1 die. I can't pronounce dice well. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. So, yeah. So now I'm going to show you how to stack 2 dice. So, how to stack 2 dice. So, what you're going to do is that you're going to line up the cup with the die. Do any other, like, starting point. So, you can do this, like, the easier way or the harder way. It doesn't really matter, but you'll follow along. So what you're going to do is that you're going to line the cup up with the die or do any method you want to of picking up the first die. So once you pick up the first one like this, I'm going to do it both ways so you can see what you're doing. So you're going to have to do the hard way at least once, and then if you're going to do the hard way completely, you have to do it twice. You're just doing it the easier way, you're doing it one last time. So once you have here, you're going to move the cup forward and pick it up. So once you have this down, you're going to stop it like this and move it up. I know it didn't stack, but I'm just showing you the ways of moving the cup. So here's how to stack 2 dice. You can take as much time as you want to make sure that they're stacked. If you also want to make sure if they're stacked, you're stacking 2 die, look at the bottom of the cup and you can see. So if they're lined up and they're not like next to each other completely, if one's on top of each other, you know they're stacked. Here's the second one. So I'm looking now, this is what it looks like. So I can see it's in 1 line. So that means they're stacked. So now I'm going to keep going. I'm going to stop it on the left. Hang on, let me fix it. And then I'm going to do that motion on the right. And that's how you do it. So now I'm going to show you the more difficult way. This isn't really difficult, but it's just a different way of picking up dice, like I said before previously in the video. So you're going to start making the motions. You don't really have to, but if you want to make yourself comfortable, I'd highly suggest it. The ways I'm teaching you, it's not the front, it's the front hand scoops. I'll show you how to stack 2 dice with the backhand scoops and using both at the same time. So now you are going to move the cup like this, like you've been normally doing at the beginning of this video. So now you're going to move it forward, pick up the first one, move it forward again, and pick the second one. This is about timing as well, because it's when you pick up the die. Stop it on the left, and then make 1 fast swipe to the right. Like that. So that's how to stack 2 dice with the front hand scoops. Now I'm going to show you how to do the backhand scoops. So the backhand scoops, like I said, you're going to start on the left, or the thumb side, and then you're just going to the left. You're going left to right with the rainbow method I've showed you. So it's, like I said before, you're making a rainbow with the scratches you're making on the table. Don't do this on a glass table. Do it on like a wooden table or something. Do it on a table where your families will be okay with it. So now I am going to time it and then grab the first one. It's just the same thing you've been doing the front hand scoops, except you're doing it on the opposite side. Just like that. So you're just doing the same thing as the front hand scoops, except you're just doing the opposite. So now I'm going to show you how to do both at the same time. So I'm going to do this slowly. So you're going to be doing, you're going to start here. You're going to make one scoop to the left. I know it fell out. I'm just showing you how to do it first. You're going to make one scoop to the left and then one scoop to the right, and that'll pick it up. So I'm going to do it, and then I'll do it slowly. So that was the slow way. So you can see I did it 1, 2. So after I move to the left, then that's when you move to the right. So after I pick up like this, I move to the opposite side, like this. Like I said, you can take as much time as you need to stop it. You can also look underneath the cup while you're stacking it, like at a good angle to make sure that they're not next to each other and they're on top of each other. So I'm going to do one last time of doing both scoops. I mean, just try each one and just see what you're comfortable with later on. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I prefer the front hand scoops and both. You can do however you want, but yeah, just take your time on each, and if you feel confident about one of them, do it like that. Do it that way. So here's both. So I stopped it here and stopped here, like one fast swipe. So that's how you stack 2 die. Now I'm going to show you 3, 4, and 5. There's not really much I can teach you about 3, 4, and 5. It's just adding one more. So I'm just going to do a quick run through of 3, 4, and 5, and then I'm going to show you the different types of dice stacks. So here is 3. So I'm going to do each method. Those are the front hand scoops. Now here are the backhand scoops. Now here is both. There's 3. And now here is 4. Here's the front hand scoops. Here's the backhand scoops. Before I move on, you don't have to get the dice in one. Like, what I mean is, when I'm stacking these 4, I don't have to move on to the next one, like, right away. I mean, you can choose to, but you don't have to. Like, get comfortable with the scoops, and then move up to the next one when you feel it, when you feel good about it. So this is the backhand scoops. These are the backhand scoops. Now here is both. And now last but not least, I'm going to show you how to do 5. This is 5. Front hand scoops. I know you can't see the dice roll, that's my fault. I'm just telling you before I start it, you'll know. So, sorry. So now here's the backhand scoops. Oops, sorry about that. And you also want to be cautious with your the stack of picking up the dice, because they can either hit this part of the cup or they could fly out of you not moving them quick. Make sure you're moving at a nice pace. If you move it too slow, they'll fall. Make sure you're not moving it too slow, because they'll fall out very easily. Make sure you're at a nice medium pace, like I am. And now here is both. My parents are watching a movie. Okay, so that all that stuff I've been teaching you is a regular stack. Now I'm going to move on to 3 others, technically 4. So I'm going to show you how to do the fast stack. So a fast stack, I'm going to show you 2 die, and then you'll know what to do from there on out. So there are 2 ways of doing a fast stack. A fast stack is not that difficult. All you're just doing is picking up the die in one swoop. I'll do it for an example, and then I'll just talk about it later on for each one. each type of stacks I'm going to show you. So here it is. You can do a fast stack in two ways. You can either just do it like that, which I'm normally not good at. I'm normally good at, so you can either do it like you're stopping it like this motion, or you can just pick them up and do this, like the scoops, and then stop it when you're comfortable. That's the way I do it, so I'll do both. I mean, I'm not going to do it for the like 4 and 5, but because I can't really get it every time, but it's okay. So once you see how to do 2 and 3, you'll know how to do 4 and 5. Or technically 3, 4, 5. So here is the first way. I suggest doing both and just seeing what you're comfortable with. So here it is. Here is this way. So it's just like that stop movement I've been showing you. And this is just the scoops I've been showing you, except you're just doing it back and forth. So here's the second way. So that is a fast stack. So I'm not going to take much time on these because there's not really much explaining. So next one is a double fast stack. So I suggest maybe having 4 die. So you're just doing it like a regular stack, like I would do for 4, like this. Except you're doing more than 1 on each row. So normally in a regular stack you would have 1 in each row, one die for each row. There's 4 rows, technically 4 die. So if you do the math, there you go. So here is a double fast stack. So I suggest maybe doing at least 3. I mean, you can do 2 in one row and then 1 in another, or you can do 2 and 2. So maybe just to understand the concept of it, maybe start with 4, but I'm going to show you 3 first. So you can do it like this. You can do it in 2 ways. Like, you can do the stop movement, but you can't really do that because there's more than 1 row of die. Or you can do the scoops afterwards and then stop it. I'll do both, but I don't think I'll get it every time. So, yeah. Alright, here's the first way. It's this way. So, after you pick up the die, that's when you do that stop. I'll do it one more time. So after you pick up that second row, that's when you move to that stop and move the cup like that. So here's the other way. You can take as many scoops as you need, like I said earlier, to pick up the die and make sure they're stacked. So that's a fast stack. So now I have 2 more to teach you, and then that's it. So if you have any other, at the end of this, I'm gonna tell you if you have any other questions, please let me know about this, and maybe I'll come over and teach you. So the next ones are pretty difficult. So this might take a while. So there is a D stack and a point stack. I'm gonna show you the D stack first. So a D stack is that you're going to stack up the amount of die you want to. I suggest starting, for each of these, I suggest starting with 2 except for the point stack, which I'll show you later. So once you stack the dice, do this motion with the cup. So you're doing that same motion like you've been doing on the table, except you're moving it left diagonal. So it's like a left diagonal. So watch me. You move it to your left and make a diagonal. So once you have this motion down, you are ready now to pick up the die. You're not going to get this right away because this is pretty difficult. So you're going to line the cup up with the die. So then a D stack is that so the point is with a D stack is that if you have 3 on top and one of them falls, you automatically fail the stack. It has to be in a tower and not fall over or fall out of the cup. So, like I'm going to show you now, here is 2. So you're doing this motion, like I said. So pretend you're making that rainbow, except you're making like a diagonally left rainbow. Might have said that complicated. I'm sorry. You're just making a diagonal. Like pretend like you're drawing a diagonal in a word search. So you're going to line the cup up with the die, and that'll pick it up. You can touch the table just to make sure you got it. So once you have the first one, you'll put the cup back on the table, and then pick up the second one. I'll do it slowly, but I don't really think I can. Here it is. Do this motion. Oops. See, that's the problem. They can either fly out of the cup or hit this part. So for the second one, I'm going to put the cup on the table, and then right away I'm going to pick up the next one. So I'll show you 3. So you stack them up, and then you will pick up one at a time. You want to pick up one at a time. Start with 2 for all these, just to start off easy. So then you don't want to have this fall down, because if it falls down and you don't pick up the next one, you fail. I'm not saying fail, but you messed up. So there's the second one. And then the third one is that you want to put the cup flat on the table. I'll do a little motion. So pretend I have a die right here. So right here, right away you move it. This is a motion of me doing 2. I'm not really doing 2 at this moment, but this is what the motion of you. This is a motion. So right away, as the cup hits the table, move it right away to your left and do the front hand scoops and the backhand scoops, and then do that stopping motion like I've told you. Okay, so the final stack I'm going to show you is the point stack. So this is probably the toughest dice stack that I know. So I'm going to go get a water bottle. So a point stack is that you're going to pick up the die. I suggest doing it with like a bottle or something. I suggest maybe a Gatorade bottle to make it easier. But so I'm going to show you where to land the die. So if you hold the cup out, you can see that there's a center right here of the front of the cup. That's where the dice are going to land. So if you have your own cylinder cup, put like a piece of maybe white like a marker right there with a white marker. It depends on what your color cylinder is, but yeah. So make sure, and then once you have that done, that tells you can look at it, and it can help you show where to land the die. So I suggest maybe doing this with like a Gatorade bottle to make it easier. I suggest learning, once you know how to stack 4 dice, you can now ready to learn this, because I think 2 or 3 you won't be able to do, because you have to stack more than 1 die to do it. So you can point stack onto objects like a water bottle cap and a Gatorade cap. I suggest doing that first before you move on to actual die, which is actually a lot harder. So you'll stack 4 dice regularly. So this is combining the skills of a regular stack and a D stack. So here, I'm going to stack up 4 dice. Again, you can take as much time as you need to pick up the die. So then you'll pick the cup up off the ground, and you'll do this diagonally left motion. This is going to be really hard for you if you're new to this, but just after watching this, take your time and then try to figure out where to aim it. Like I said, I'll show you, it's in that front center part of the cup. So when you hold it out, I'm just holding the dice so it doesn't fall out. It's this part where my finger is, so it's the center, or it's around this region. So once you have that, you're gonna stop here, and then you're gonna have the front center part of the cup. Oops. That's gonna line up with the cap. It's not gonna stay on, I know. Please don't judge it. So I'm just gonna stack it on top just so you can see it. Actually, never mind. So practice first of stacking the dice like this. And then just lifting it up off the surface or table, and then you're gonna stop, and you're gonna have the cup, and you're gonna land the cup right in the front center here, lining up with the bottle cap. This will take some practice, but once you get a feel for it, you'll be knowing what you're doing. So this is what it looks like. I can't do this every time, but it'll take me multiple tries if I don't. Yeah, see? But the thing is with point stacks is that you want to be very gentle and delicate because they can fall off each other very easily. So I'll do it one more time. So that's what it looks like. So you want to have this part line up with this because that's right. You want to watch where you aim with the bottle. Do this on the Gatorade caps because it is a bigger surface, but this is what I have next to me. So maybe get like a Gatorade cap because it's a lot bigger of a surface. And then once you practice that a lot, you'll be able to figure out where to aim. But what I know is that so where I aim specifically, like I said earlier, is the front center of the cup. So mark where I put my finger. It's like look at the center front part of the cup that's facing away from you. So like this right here. So that's, you can, if you want to like help yourself and put a mark, like a little mark there, I suggest doing that to help you. But like once you're getting good at it, you can get rid of that mark. So this will take an awful lot of practice, so you're not going to be able to get this right away. I mean, I don't want to say that rudely, but this is one of the most difficult ones. And you also want to watch out during point stacks is that you're not going to land it in the center every time. They can land here and fall off. They can land here and fall off. You want to make sure, like, to make sure it's balanced, you can actually feel the cup, having the dice leaning into the cup, and that's when you know it needs to be balanced. It's not going to stay in for a long time, but that just gives you a little signal of doing it. So, just practice. So first, like for a review, just practice picking up the die. You can do whatever scoops you want to, and then just practice picking it up. And then just think about where to aim. I can't get it every time, but I'm just showing an example, so I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to get this every time, but it happens. So, yeah, so that's how you stack it point stack onto bottles, or onto other objects. I suggest doing something that, that the cup can't, completely get on top of. So, like, this cup, like a very tall cup, I would not suggest because you need to do, a bottle because the problem is, if you don't, is that the cup is going to stay, where it is, and it's not going to be, when you feel it, it's not going to be hanging off the edge. It's going to be, hanging when you stack it on top. I'll attempt it one more time, and then I'll move on to the last section, which is the dice. So make sure you look for that front center portion right here of the cup, and practice picking it up and then shaking it like this. Don't shake it too fast, or else the die will fly out. Make sure you're doing this diagonal motion because it'll stay in the cup and it will not fall out. And before you lift up the cup, you want to make sure the dice are stacked, because if they're not stacked, they're not going to point stack exactly on top like you want it to. So on to die. I'm just going to give a few tips on the die. I might do this at least once. So once you figure out that perfect spot and you master this, you're ready to move on to point stacking die. And I'll explain some other things too. So point stacking onto die is that you want to see how many die can fit into the cup before you know it can't fit anymore. For example, mine fits 5, and I can try fitting a 6th one, and I can feel it goes outside of the cup. And if you can look at it here, you want to make sure you can't see that. So that's going to tell you how many dice you need to point stack. You can actually do less dice. You can do 4. Say you have a 4 dice cup and you want to stack 5. You can stack 2 dice and actually also stack 3 on top. So you can do many combinations. For example, -5, so I can do 1 and 5, 2 and 4, and stuff like that. So once you So like I said before, practice picking up the die and making this motion like this after you pick up the die. So it doesn't matter what scoop you do, just practice all of them and see what you're comfortable with. So once you have them all up, once you get to your right side, I didn't explain this before, I know they're going to fall out, but that's when you lift up the cup. So I'll do it slowly. So whenever you feel comfortable, that's when you pick it up. Make sure you hold that, having that same grip of the cup. And also, before you do it, find that spot, the front center portion of the part of the cup. I'm going to touch it right here. So the part that's facing away from you. Now that's facing toward you, because this side is facing towards me. You can see mine has like a little logo. I mean, if you want to use the logo on either side, that would be very helpful. So you want to find that spot, and then it'll land on top. Just like that. So, that's all going to be for stacking, but some other things I can explain is that, you can actually do many other trick shots, like you can throw the dice in, like you can do it blindfolded like this, or you can, like, hold like 5 dice in your hand, throw it in, and then stack it, pick it up at the same time it. So there's a lot of different creative things you can do with dice stacking. It's really cool. It's a very cool talent. You can show to everyone and your family. So if you enjoyed this, please let me know. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to come up and tell me. So yeah, I guess that's it. I'll see you guys then. Bye.